grandparents and the sister. And
but let me guess. Let me guess. The sister and the grandkids haven't gotten the baby.
Yeah, they got the baby now too.
Well, listen. That's better than nothing. Usually they don't get the baby.
No, they got them all. You don't get it. I mean, but they're horrible people, okay? And for those children to be in their possession is worse than anything we could ever.
Well, listen, you have to get a lawyer that's a specialist in this. There's some organizations.
I'm here and I'm sequestering help. I want to hire Harry Shapiro and Patrick Clancy. They're two experts, okay? I'm flat broke. I'm tossthekitty@yahoo.com, and I'm MySpace. Toss the kitty. I'm the one that wrote the song 9/11 was an inside job, okay? I have been a long-time patriot. The only thing that I'm guilty of was leaving my wife for another woman. I'm guilty of that. But I shouldn't lose my baby over this, and we're destroyed. It's destroying us.
Well, sir, listen, let me stop, okay? I appreciate your call, okay? I can sit here and I can take 150 phone calls straight every hour of people that just had their kids taken, okay? They take over 1 million children a year. Most of them don't even go to somebody else in the family. I understand that. I understand they wanted the other 2 kids, and so now they've gotten your baby. And I understand it's criminal and it's sick. You're going to have to fight it out in the courts. And what's got to be defeated is these fake criminal family courts. Everybody's heard about them, where the private adoption agencies and stuff get caught paying the judges under the table millions, and where they have actual orders for blonde-haired and blue-eyed kids. I had a state senator on earlier this week covering it. We gave your thing out. I'd like to help you, sir. It's just that I know how this operates. It's why I cover it every week on the show. But it is an innumerable amount of people that we would have to help. We have to change the system. And I know you're wanting to hire some type of specialist lawyers or something. You need to get with the big think tanks and websites that are experts on how to go after the criminal CPS system, okay? And so the way this criminal system works is it sides with whoever makes the false allegation. And the family courts aren't real courts, so you have trouble facing your own accuser, and there's no judge or jury. All there is a big fat pedophile judge 9 times out of 10 that's sitting there getting kickbacks on money for how many kids they grab. And I understand your pain, and it's hard for me to sit there and listen to it because it's very upsetting. That's why I cover it on the show every week. But all I can do is give out info. We're almost powerless when it comes to helping individuals. We've got to change the system. And if people wake up universally and realize what a criminal racket the family court system is, then we can start changing it. Let's talk to Stephen in Texas. Stephen, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, good afternoon, Alex. First of all, 2 things I want to cover real quick. First of all, about the Boy Scouts. I was in the Boy Scouts for years, and, I consider it no coincidence that now what you're bringing out about the Boy Scouts and, what you brought out about Hitler's youth brigades, that our beloved governor, Rick Perry, not long ago came out with a book promoting the Boy Scouts. So I don't consider that he was defending them against, like, the homosexuals who are trying to infiltrate them. But I see this as a deeper agenda where it's no coincidence that, just not too long ago he came out with this book. In other words, to give a positive spin on the Boy Scouts in the direction they're going now. You see what I'm getting at?
No, and again, the Boy Scouts admittedly were set up to train youth for military induction and for camping and preparation. They admit that, and that's fine and dandy. But what Hitler did in 1933 is they had the German Boy Scouts. That's
right.
It was the Kinderfolk, and this is mainline history for those that don't know. And I appreciate your call. It's a fine point. I'm going to start getting into that in the next segment. And they took over the Boy Scouts, and at first had it just normal Boy Scouts, and then turned it into paramilitary training. And then they set up the Hitler Jugend out of that. And just a few years later, those 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds in 1933, by 1941, 42, with the war raging, they were now 20, 21, 22 years old and were fully indoctrinated. And that's what this is all about. And that is what is happening here. Torture, secret arrest, youth brigades. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not just that. We now know what the global uniform is for these youth. And Barack Obama has released a Secure Corps video with them doing military drills. Ladies and gentlemen, this is off the charts. It's up on Infowars.com. You can see it right now. We're going to play the audio coming up in the next segment when I detail all of this. George in Texas. Oh, by the way, to Walt, who called earlier, Walt, send a email to robd@infowars.com with all the facts of the case written out, because just to come on here and kind of talk about what happened to you, or to start naming people in an extended family, I need to see the documentation first. I need to consider you for being a guest on the show. That's how we do that when we do shows on the CPS, because it's a very, very, very serious situation. Okay, so I appreciate your call. Let's go ahead and talk to George in Texas. George, go ahead.
Hey, thank you, Alex. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
You know, the thing is, I talked to a few military, and the thing is, I started to find out that a lot of the children being taken are from fathers that are deployed overseas, and they're not there to protect their homes.
Yes, the CPS does take a lot of the military's children, and the government recruiting arms are doing a lot of that. No, this is folks, they make the troops pay for plane tickets and their back home and their meals when they're in hospitals. This government is degenerate, but they wrap themselves in the flag and say, we're patriotic, go along with the police state, or you don't like the police and military. Police and military, you are dog meat to the New World Order. Henry Kissinger wrote a book calling you dumb animals.
Yes, Mark. Alex, can I ask you one more thing? When are you going to get Mark Kornke on again?
I might get Mark on sometime. We've had Mark on before. He hasn't invited me on his show, though. Listen, we're going to go ahead and go to break and come back with more phone calls. And I've always defended Mark, and one day I heard him on the air with some caller, horrible guy, saying things about me, didn't really defend me, so I've kind of gotten...
How would you...
Yeah, we're shouting at the devil, saying, hey, Obama, you said you were going to stop the torture and the secret arrest and no more indefinite detention and rights for detainees. Now you've gone back on all of that. And there's all these idiots that say, they're Al-Qaeda, they can't have rights. They're now saying in all the big court cases that U.S. citizens don't have rights, and they're going to use and are using all the anti-terror laws of the American people. And all the major training manuals are about gun owners, conservatives, and veterans, dummies. They get you sold on it for foreign cave dwellers and saying, yeah, take them, Arabs' rights. They're not Arabs. They live in Central Asia. Take their rights when it's really for you. Those Central Asians work for the CIA against the Serbs, against the Russians. You were set up. You were the targets, dum-dums. The free market, our free society, our private property was the target. Look at these headlines. AmeriCorps' paramilitary propaganda ad. Wait till you hear the audio from this, and the video is even more incredible. Obama continues torture and torture-related murder in the bogus war on terror. Another story about Kurt Nimmo up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. And Bilderberg wants global Department of Health and global Treasury Department. We're going to go over all of this coming up in the next hour. But right now, back to the phone calls. Let's go ahead and talk to Matt. And Matt, where are you calling us from?
Hey, Alex, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, where are you calling us from?
Missouri, sir.
Okay, welcome to the airwaves.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to read you two passages that describe everything that you do and what we all need to do in our fight against evil in the New World Order. And the first one here is Ephesians 6, verse 10, armor of God. Finally, be strong in the Lord and his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against authorities, against the powers of dark in this world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms.
Now, how does that combine with Romans 13? They take out of context and say all governments of God do whatever it says. Then the founding fathers were wrong to rebel against King George III. We were wrong in the 40s to rebel against Hitler. We were wrong to rebel against Napoleon. But no, the entire Bible is about standing up against wicked government. Again, give folks that famous verse again.
It's Ephesians 6, verse 10, and another one that describes why we need to fight these people and why they're in the positions that they are and why they worship Lucifer would be Luke 4, verses 5, which I'm sure you've heard before, and this is when Christ is being tempted in the wilderness, the devil leads